everyone, hope you're doing great. I'm back with another art journal video. So the creative side of my mind was in a whimsical mood for the past 2 days, and today when I can bear no more, I raided my stash and sat down to make this art journal. My idea is to depict a sunrise or sun rays, but not the way we generally create them in art journal. so I have no prior planning to what I'm doing today, so it will be totally on the whim. I am just going with the flow. So for background, I am using Distress Oxide, Picked Raspberry and Carved Pumpkin, as I wanted some coral peachy shades in my background. So I'll start layering them down on my page. There is no prior plan to how I'm going to do it. It's totally random, and I will keep building the layer until I'm happy. So trying my best to make sure that I get some corals, but not all of it. That's why I'm just cleaning the brush, because I'm using the same makeup brush for putting down both of the inks. So the first layer is quite light, and that's where I'll start keep building up the layer. And once the layers are built and I'm happy, I have moved on to using a stencil for giving the first layer of texture. I'm using Art Anthology's Universe stencil here. So I first tried a wet wipe technique, but as you can see, it didn't give the kind of impression I wanted. So I went with other technique to build the texture, and yeah, it's giving me the kind of result I wanted. So once I'm happy with the stencil result, I'm doing the water splatter effect on the background. Yes, when you're using distress, you cannot resist using water splatter on them. So I'll start placing my items on the sun rays form, in the sun rays form onto the page. But before doing that, I wanted to secure this background so that it won't bleed on anything I'll put on top of it, because as we know, Distress Oxide are water-based ink. So my gel plate was not near me, so I went with the default technique, use a dry brush with matte medium and use one stroke so as not to disturb too much of the Distress Oxide ink. Yes, the muscle memory wants to put more brush strokes, but we have to resist that. So right, okay. So as you can see, this is how I am planning to put these leaves on my background as sun rays. I'll start gluing them down, and in the middle of gluing them down, I felt that background still needed some texture, and guess what? I think you must have already guessed. I'll be using a text stamp for that. Okay, I think half of you must have guessed by looking at the left corner of the screen what is going to be sun here. So I'm using Lavinia Stamp's Sacred Spell for adding texture. I was not sure at this point when I picked up the stamp whether I want to use brown or black color for stamping, so that's why I was just trying my best to only stamp a letter in the corner. And once I did, it was an oh my god, it works moment. And I went ahead with the archival ink sepia ink. So once all the leaves are glued down, on the page as per how I wanted them, I will be moving on and using Distress Oxide Lucky Clover to give some shading to the leaves. So while I was adding colors to the flowers, my mobile camera went off due to heating of the phone. So what I did was just put some distress oxide fossilized amber on the craft mat and add some water and smush the big and medium flowers on it. Then added splatter of carved pumpkin on it, on both of these sized flowers. Again, just put some on the craft mat, fossilized amber, and uh, water them down and do the splatter. That's what I did. For the small ones, I used carved pumpkin as the for coloring them down, and for the teeniest of flower, I used distress ink vintage photo for ink smooshing. So I'm distressing the edges of the flowers. I first used the mini makeup brush, but it was too soft to give sharp edges, so I moved on to the ink blender tool. As you can see, I have trimmed the edges of the paper and enforced the holes back. And now it's time to place the sun on the rays. Okay, so before gluing down the sun on the page, I first glued them down together to make a flower combination. So as today's page, you will see that there's no code on it, as this was a fun idea that I wanted to try and had no code in my mind. Once my sun is glued down, I moved on to uh, adding this pearl drop on it from Little Buddy. And once I have decided where I want to place it, I am going to glue it down. I have not, by the time the video ended and I have took the pictures, I have not cut down the flower on the outside edge. Probably I won't. I don't know. You can check that once I'll do the art journal flip through video for this particular journal. So once everything was glued down, I moved on to distressing the page edges using vintage photo, but because the background had matte medium, it was not taking the distress ink that well, so that's why I used archival ink black for the same, and I think it was a good move because it literally framed down the page very neatly. So yeah, I'm wondering whether to cut it or not. So that's it, guys. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please share it with friends and hit the bell icon to receive notification for upcoming videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye.